Social Security is a major part of most people's income in retirement. Chapter 18 of our book, Next Gen Dollars and Cents, discusses how Social Security benefits are calculated and also includes a discussion of some of the key concepts to consider when deciding whether to take Social Security at a particular age. So established in 1935 as part of Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal program, Social Security was designed to provide a safety net for Americans struggling during the Great Depression. Today, it pays over $1.1 trillion every year to approximately 70 million beneficiaries, or roughly about 21% of the population of the U.S. 25 years ago, in the year 2000, Social Security was paid to about 49 million people, which at that point in time was less than 16% of the population. So that increase in not just the numbers, but also the percentage of the population that is collecting Social Security, along with a corresponding decrease in the number of workers contributing to Social Security, leads to the problems that we hear in the mainstream media about Social Security and some of the current concerns about whether Social Security is going to be running out of money or not, and whether it has long-term viability as a part of your retirement income. And the reality is, of course, that Social Security was never intended to cover all of your living expenses during retirement, but rather to provide a sort of a baseline level of income to the neediest part of the population. Average Social Security benefit typically represents about 40% of most Americans' pre-retirement income. When you think about Social Security, the funding comes from basically you and I and anybody else that's kind of earning a paycheck. If you're earning a paycheck, you're contributing to Social Security. That's the primary funding source, is those payroll taxes that come from current workers. There's also matching taxes that come from employers. And then lastly is the third category, which is the Social Security Trust Fund. Now, that's the piece that the headlines are correlated to. That's the piece that currently the Social Security Trust Fund projected at its current pace to run out of that roughly $3 trillion that it has in sort of excess funds over the course of the next decade or so, depending upon what the latest projections are. The payroll taxes that are collected from earned income only, not from retirement or investment income. That payroll tax that funds Social Security currently amounts to 12.4%, 6.2% coming from you, the employee, the other matching 6.2% of your earned income coming from your employer. Now, those contributions are generally limited by a wage cap that is indexed to inflation. For the year 2025, Social Security tax is only applied to the first $176,100 of earned income. So that's the mechanisms through which Social Security is funded. There are a lot of factors that go into determining what someone's Social Security benefit amount is. The best way for you to check what your Social Security benefit amount is going to be is to go online to Social Security's website at ssa.gov and establish your own personal account, and then you can see exactly what your anticipated Social Security benefits might be. The primary determinant for how much you're going to get under Social Security is, of course, your earnings history, the amount of money that you have earned over the course of your working period of time. And then the second, of course, is what age you start collecting at. So Social Security, Social Security Administration records and keeps track of an individual's earnings throughout their lifetime and uses the average of those earnings on an inflation-adjusted basis over a 35-year period of time. So it's not like just a few years. It really looks at the total of your work history in order to determine what your Social Security benefit is going to be. Now, to qualify for Social Security benefits, you have to work a total of 40 credits, which are accrued as you work. Basically, you get 1 credit per calendar quarter if you make at least about $1,730 in the year 2025. Social Security then uses a formula to calculate your particular primary insurance amount. Now, that amount is the amount that you would get if you retired and started collecting at your full retirement age. For those born before 1960, that full retirement age ranged from 65, increasing on up to 67. If you're born after 1960, your full retirement age is 67. So if you take Social Security benefits before your full retirement age, your benefits are reduced. In fact, they're reduced by a total of 0.5% for each month you take it early prior to your full retirement age. So, for example, if you were 63 with a full retirement age of 67, you would have 48 months before your full retirement age. So 48 months times the 0.5%, that's 26.7%, which means that your Social Security benefits would be reduced by that 26.7%. Reduced from the amount that you would get at your full retirement age. On the flip side, if you wait to collect your Social Security benefits past your full retirement age, they actually go up by 8% if you wait up to age 70. Past 70, you wind up not getting any additional benefit or increase in the amount of your Social Security benefits. In terms of benefits, Social Security itself pays sort of 4 main types of benefits, and each one of them is designed sort of with different intents and eligibility requirements. Retirement benefits obviously account for nearly 85% of all benefits paid by Social Security, but there's also disability benefits. To be eligible for those, you have to meet Social Security Administration's definition of disability. Similarly, there are survivor benefits where you must be the surviving spouse or child or parent of a deceased worker who was eligible for Social Security benefits. And then lastly, there are family benefits. So an individual to collect family benefits must have been the spouse or a child of an individual collecting retirement or disability Social Security benefits. So those family benefits apply to someone perhaps that is collecting benefits and caring for a child who's disabled or under 16. The primary recipient of Social Security still alive and collecting those benefits. So one of the main questions that we get on a regular basis from folks who listen to our various programs is that everybody always asks the question, assuming that they're eligible, when should I take Social Security? And ultimately, choosing when to take Social Security is obviously a very highly individualized decision that depends on a lot of factors. We've got some general guidelines that we outline in our book, Next Gen Dollars and Cents, that we wanted to share with you in this video. Obviously, the earlier you take it, as we were talking about in that example earlier in this video, the less it's going to be, right? So if you take Social Security before your full retirement age, you're going to be subject to a reduction. It's easy to think of the optimal solution always being to delay Social Security for as long as possible, but it's really important to sort of analyze your particular individual situation to determine what really is the best approach. Certainly delaying will increase it. Your retirement benefit will increase by 8% each year after reaching your full retirement age if you continue to delay collecting Social Security. That's typically a strategy that we encourage people to use if they haven't maybe saved enough for retirement. One of the Other considerations to be aware of is that if you elect to take Social Security before reaching your full retirement age, then your benefit is going to wind up being reduced. It gets reduced for every dollar by $1 for every $2 that you are above the employment income limit. That limit for the year 2025 is $23,400. So a low level of earnings limit. So again, if you're working, you want to be very careful about collecting Social Security before your full retirement age. And then, of course, consider that we're all living longer. Your Social Security benefit at the beginning of retirement is permanent. That's how much. That's the amount that your future cost of living adjustments are going to be based on. Another important aspect that sometimes gets overlooked is the fact that Social Security is in fact taxable. Starting in 1984, Social Security benefits became subject to federal income tax. The amount of that Social Security benefits that gets included in your adjusted gross income is based on a combined total of all of your other income and whether certain thresholds are crossed. I guess the big question that we hear a lot about is that everywhere you look, you see stories that Social Security is running out of money. And at its current trajectory, as we talked about earlier, the Social Security Trust Fund part is projected to run out somewhere in the neighborhood of a decade or so from now. Clearly, that doesn't mean that Social Security is not going to have any funds available because it's continuing to be funded through collection of payroll taxes by both the employee and then corresponding the matching tax from the employer. But the reality is if that trust fund piece runs out of money, then benefits could decline by as much as 20%. Again, the majority of the funding comes from collecting from the current workforce. We would expect to see any one of a sort of a combination of various solutions to shore up Social Security that are similar to some of the solutions that have been utilized in the past to shore up Social Security when it was on weaker ground in the past. Among those would be raising the retirement age, increasing the tax rate, raising the wage cap. Those are the sum of the adjustments that we would expect to see in the years ahead that could really help to stabilize Social Security. Remember, though, at the end of the day, Social Security was never intended to be anyone's sole source of income in retirement. So proper planning for your future on your terms has never been more critical. Most importantly, it's important to start planning to have the best possible retirement now and not be fully reliant on Social Security. For more details on Social Security, read Chapter 8 of our book, Next Gen Dollars and Cents. You can get your free copy of our book by texting free copy to 407-791-0070. That's 407-791-0070. My name is Joel Garris, certified financial planner, certified financial fiduciary at Nelson Financial Planning, and author of Next Gen Dollars and Cents. Thanks for watching the video.